Hey, and we are back again with yet another 10 most busted champions list for patch 14.9. This patch is the last update before massive changes will be arriving for split 2 of the ranked season, which means Riot will make us here at Game Leap extremely dizzy figuring out the mid-season changes. But enough of all of that nonsense, let's get into our first champ. Camille has found her way back home as one of the best top laners of the patch, but not for the reason you might be expecting. While Camille is rated an S tier top once again, it's because of the change of matchups in the top lane overall. To go from the bruiser meta like Volibear, Darius and Renekton to more heavy tank metas including Ergot, Skarner and Gragas means that Camille can easily find her way, outscaling all of the champs listed. The early game for Camille is still very rough. In some matchups, especially versus ranged top laners, we recommend taking a Comet and W start to get you through levels 1 to 3. After that, play for item spikes such as Sheen, Triforce and Ravenous Hydra. At 2 items, your ability to trade versus these tanks is insane due to the true damage and your ability to escape from their trades with your E, meaning you can take control of the lane however which way you want. Joining the OP top lane pool is Vayne. Honestly, we should have brought you this champion a little bit sooner, but we held back on account of this champ being sinful in the top lane. Being able to dominate almost every matchup top and outscale most matchups as well as the game goes on is a little bit of a cheat code when the only price you pay is your team now requiring another frontline unit elsewhere. Our biggest tip for you guys on Vayne is to try not to be overly aggressive just because you can. Due to the range advantage, a lot of players tend to forget Vayne has a pretty low amount of defensive stats, so overly forcing trades or getting ganked usually leads to a swift death. Once behind on Vayne, it becomes pretty hard to come back, so make sure you establish just enough lane dominance to where you are comfortable but aren't pushing it. Next up, do bear in mind that this is just a suggested Champions List 14.9. Click the link in the description box below right now to sign up to GameLeap.com and master every single champion covered in this video. We've got hundreds and hundreds of guides authored by challenger coaches for every role and scenario you can think up. We're talking macro guides, champion specific courses, laning deep dives and more. So again, hit the link below right now to sign up. It's gonna be sweet. Next, sauntering into the mid lane, we've got Akshan. Akshan has been on a bit of a silent tear through the ranks as he beats about almost everybody right now, from control mages to even some melee mids. His only counters are Qiyana and Yasuo, both of which are very high skill demanding champions, so if you know Akshan well enough, you can probably outlane most players who are picking up these champs on the fly. The reason why Akshan is so OP is because of his ability to gap close and almost have prio by wave 3. The double shot on his passive allows for easy early trading, and the Q is so good for wave clear. When you pair this damage with the build we're about to share, it will make sense why he is so broken. You will start off building like a normal ADC with Kraken Slayer, but then you go into Gwynsu's because Akshan's damage is loaded into his passive, so crits will not do more DPS than proccing the 3 shots consistently. His third item is what really seals the deal on most games for Akshan, and that is Stridebreaker. Tons of challenger Akshans have taken the time to test it, and they've decided that the only weakness Akshan has is when he swings in and doesn't have enough HP. With this utility item basically allowing you to one-shot waves, slow enemies upon swinging in, and tank damage during the trades means it's the perfect third item that lets you crank out free LP as Akshan. With the new mage item being Shirelia's, Twisted Fate is actually a top tier mid laner again with his AP build this time, not AD. Ever since mid laners realized movement speed buffing your whole team was a pretty good item, alongside it giving pretty decent mana regen and AP stats, this item has gone rampant. Twisted Fate uses this item especially well because the other AP items he used to go, such as Ludens and Rod of Ages, have become outdated. TF also has innately strong damage to clear waves with his Q, so when you pair a champion with strong wave clear whose intention is to roam a lot, you have to give him big movement speed. Most mid lane matchups are not that oppressive anymore as control mages are starting to lose full control of mid. Champions such as Ahri and Akshan are back, so clearing out waves before disappearing in lane won't be as punishing. The main 3 item core goes like this. Rush Boots, because TF loves early game movement speed, into Shirelia's. From here, you go Lichbane into Rapid Fire Cannon for early damage and quick bursts at a cheap price. Keep the tempo up on the map and you'll be RKing your way to Challenger. For junglers, we'll be skipping past Skarner this patch as we've said enough about him already, so let's talk about the more fun broken champions. Lee Sin is back on the map as many late game scaling champions are losing their strength. The issue with Lee Sin before was that if you didn't play perfect, then you were heavily punished. This is because full clearing junglers got rewarded because after a certain point, tank items started to play the game for them. Well, now that the meta has slotted in champions such as Viego, Karthus, and some assassins, Lee Sin can take back the early game through skirmishes. This is also because of how bot lane champions have changed to tons of hyper carries. When the big DPS unit of the enemy team isn't given 20 dashes and mobility spells, then one good kick is all it takes to win a game. Shaco is also a jungler that has been finding consistent success. It has been maybe 3 years since Shaco players have found out how to set up boxes on Raptors and Red, then do Krugs into a gank or invade, and it works every time without fail. The trick to being good with Shaco though is understanding both playstyles in order to stay flexible for your team, whether it's being objective utility based with AP boxes or killing utility based with lethality and Hail of Blades one-shotting carries. He is the quite niche and tricky champion, however, so we suggest watching some Challenger Shaco VODs such as Chases Shaco, or hop onto Game Leap where we have some Shaco tricks and tutorials of our own. AD carry has been about the same for a while now, but we really want to talk about this champion because if you guys haven't been keeping up with the League streaming scene, old school pro I'm a Cutie Pie has come back and is dominating Challenger North American solo queue games with Twitch. At this very moment in time, he's sitting at a comfortable 1k LP. Twitch is just that champion you should pick when the meta is hyper carry ADCs because not only does this rat scale just as well as those champs, he is useful early game with his shoving power and roams. The trick to making Twitch seem stronger than what people think is by taking press the attack over lethal tempo. In most cases, once you unstealth from Twitch's Q, you can get about 2 autos off before the enemy realizes they can auto back. Rather than running away after those 2 autos, now you can opt to trade in 1 more auto to proc the press the attack, then E for a solid 200 HP trade. This is really useful for enchanter lanes as stacking lethal tempo versus double range is quite tough, and when you roam as Twitch, the PTA really helps to pack a punch, since you will normally be executing short trades before going back to lane. Pick Twitch up fast as we gamely believe he's the most OP AD of the current patch. In the support role, Sona has been finding a lot of success due to the lack of punishment from engaged players. With hypercarries being meta, Sona is a hypercarry in her own way due to her passive stack scaling. The biggest note for you guys though is to not blind pick Sona. She's meant to be a counter versus other mages and enchanters such as Lulu, Nami, and Milio. If you pick Sona blind, the enemy may just lock in Blitzcrank, and if you are paired with a hypercarry AD with little to no mobility, then Blitzcrank will have a field day with the two of you. If drafted properly, Sona can outscale every support in the game and become a moving fountain that heals, shields, CCs, and gives move speed. And our last OP pick, get ready for this one boys, for this week's video, is gonna be Skarner support. Oh yes, you heard us right. Even when we didn't mention him in either top lane or jungle, this new reworked monstrosity has even found his way into the support role. With the boulder Q cooldown being so slow and the splash radius being so high, almost like Karma Q. This champion is insanely lane dominant as a melee champion, which already shouldn't be a thing. Paired up with his insane W slow range and gank setup on his E, and it's a wrap. I've seen some pretty nasty things done on Skarner. Just the other day, I saw a Twitch open up and immediately my support Skarner flash-E'd him into the wall, then ulted him for a full 4-second CC combo. Following that attempt by Twitch, he AFK'd and the enemy team surrendered. Absolutely true story. The trick to playing this champion's support is to understand where to position in lane to get optimal Q-poke value, and where to position to come out a wall with E to set up for your jungler. If you can master lane positioning on Skarner support, then this just might be the next insane CC bot Leona wishes she could be once again. And that is about going to do it for this list. If we missed any champions you've been absolutely popping off with in patch 14.9, make sure to drop them down below in the comments. And while you're down there, why not click the link at the top of the video description to visit GameLeap.com. Head on over there, sign up, unlock your access to hundreds and hundreds of challenger guides. Thanks again, best of luck before the ranked split comes in. We're going to catch all of you guys in the next one.